prove that central force is conservative. Just remember that I have written here too, not all central forces are conservative. Not all central forces fields are conservative nor spherically symmetric. Only those central forces are conservative in which are spherically symmetric. By spherically symmetric, we mean to say that we have three spherical coordinates, that is, let's say we have a point here on the surface of a sphere. So we need theta, we need r, and we need rho, and we need phi. So we have r, theta and phi, which are known as spherical coordinates. By spherically symmetric, we mean to say that the function, the force is, the potential is only a function of r. It is not a function of theta and phi. So we can say that central force will be conservative if and only if however, it can be shown that a central force is conservative if and only if it is spherically symmetric. So, it means that a central force F, if is a negative gradient of potential energy, then it will be a conservative force. If and only if potential energy V is a function of R only in spherical coordinates. It means that we can say partial V by partial theta is equal to partial V by partial phi, and both of these should be 0. Okay, so we have concluded that central force will only be conservative if and only if these conditions are satisfied. Now, from our knowledge of calculus, we know that if I have a function, say g is a function which is a gradient of some other function h. So g is del h. If g is a function which is a gradient of another function h, then we should know that the curl of g must always be 0. This is from our previous knowledge. So this leads us to define the conservative force in a new way. It leads us to let Fc be a conservative force. Let Fc be a conservative force, then we know that this Fc is a negative gradient of potential energy delta V. So by using this equation, I know that the curl of conservative force must be 0. So in order to prove central force is a conservative force, I need to find the curl of this force. If the curl of this force becomes equal to 0, if the curl of small f become equal to 0, then the force will be conservative force. Let me just represent the function with f prime so that we do not confuse it with the central force f. Okay. All we have to do is find del cross f equal to 0. So let us consider a point P in xyz coordinate system. Here we have a test charge Q0 lying, which is at the position R, that is from the origin to the surface of a sphere if we are considering the spherical coordinates. So that is at position R. Let me have another charge Q. Now this Q is a point charge, and consider a test charge Q0 lies at R from a point charge Q, which is positive by the way, and which lies at origin. I could have considered the example of gravitational force between two masses, but attractive forces are considered positive, negative. That's why I have considered two same charges. There will be a force of repulsion between them, which are taken as negative. So I will not have to worry about the sign convention. Now the force of repulsion between them, between these two charges, is directed along unit vector r. So small f vector is given by the magnitude of f multiplied by unit vector r. That the position vector r is the product of magnitude of r and the unit vector r. So the unit vector r will become, the unit vector r will become the ratio of original vector to the its magnitude, and this could be written as x divided by ri plus y divided by rj plus z divided by rk. So this is our unit vector r. We can replace this r by this this term. F is equal to r divided by r multiplied by f is equal to x by r I plus y by r j plus z by r k unit vectors multiplied by f. So this will become f is equal to x by r f I plus x by plus y by r f j plus z by r f k. Let us call this as our equation number 1. But this f can also be written as f is equal to fxi plus fyj plus fz. Okay. So this is equation number 2. Fx is equal to x divided by ri, x divided by r, y is equal to fy is equal to y divided by r, and fz is equal to z divided by r. So we are going to find the left hand side of our equation, that is curl of f. So del cross f will become, del cross f is equal to del cross fx along I plus del cross fy along j plus del cross fz along k. This side of equation could be written as del cross f is equal to I j k partial by partial x, partial by partial y, and partial by partial z. You are well familiar with this process, fx, fy, and fz. So this equation will give us del cross f is equal to I times partial by partial y of fz minus partial by partial z of fy minus j times partial by partial x of fz minus partial by partial z of fx plus k times, and these are unit vectors, partial by partial y of partial by partial x of fy minus partial by partial y of fx. So this is our equation number 4. Del cross fx is equal to partial by partial y of fz minus partial by partial z of fy. This is equation number 5. Similarly, del cross fy is equal to partial by partial x of fz minus partial by partial z of fx. But del cross fy is equal to partial by partial z of fx minus partial by partial x of fz. Because there is a negative sign, and this minus when multiplied inside the brackets will make this term positive and this term negative. Okay, so this is equation number 6, and del cross fz is equal to partial fy or partial x minus partial fx or partial y. Equation number 7. Now we need to find partial by partial y of fz and partial by partial y of fy and substitute it in equation number 5, 6 and 7, and then substitute all these results in this equation. Let me just call it as equation number A. Okay. So then we need to substitute these results in our equation A finally. Okay. So partial by partial y of fz, and fz here is given by z by r. These terms have f with them, otherwise these terms would not be dimensionally correct. So sorry for the mistake, but you should know that x by r f, y by r f and z by r f. So these terms must have this f with them, otherwise they will not be dimensionally correct. So whenever you write an equation, you should check its dimension first. I should have done that here. So partial fz by partial fy, partial y is equal to partial z by r, and we have also f. So this differential will become z f, and partial by partial y, or let us just write it d by dy of 1 divided by x square plus y square plus z square. The derivative of this equation will become d by dy of the derivative of this equation will become z f d by dy of 1 divided by x square plus y square plus z square whole under the root, and r is x square plus y square plus z square whole under the root. If you differentiate this term, this will become z f minus 1 by 2 and divided by 1 divided by x square plus 1 divided by x square plus y square plus z square whole power 3 by 2. And again derivative of y square will give us 2y, which will cancel out this 2 with this 2. Hence our final result partial fz over partial y will become minus z f and y, z y f divided by this could be written as r whole power 3 by 2. So r power 3 by 2. Similarly, partial fy divided by partial z will gives us minus z y f divided by r power 3 by 2. So if we substitute this value here in this equation, this will become equal to 0. Similarly, these two terms could be proved to become equal to 0. They will gives us this is the j term, that is partial. Let me write the result straight away. And the partial fz or partial fx is equal to partial fx or partial z, and this will become equal to minus x f divided by r power 3 by 2. Okay. It could be written as partial fy or partial x is equal to partial fx or partial fx or partial y, and this will become equal to x minus xy f divided by r power 3 by 2. So it's a good exercise. If you want to do it, you can practice it. So if we substitute all these values in our del cross f will become 0, which means that the curl of this central force, that the example we considered, is 0. So central force is a conservative force.